they're 40-year-olds. They're not young royals.
Well, and
they're different now. The vibe is different. The whole mood and shift will now go on to George, Charlotte and Louis. And they will become really, frankly, bit part players. Now, they won't like that. And that's probably what this is all about, making sure they've got a presence. So far removed from the main game, they're not going to be able to get as much money out of being royals.
I think Valentine Lowe wrote that in his book, didn't he? Or I seem to remember Val writing about saying that Harry did have fears that he might,
In a plot twist, more shocking than a family reality show reunion, whispers from the palace walls are suggesting that King Charles is backing a move by UK parliamentarians to strip Harry of his remaining royal titles, and to top it all off, a massive, mind-boggling tax penalty is looming over his head.
But he undoubtedly will. He'll be a bald 50-year-old prince that, a gentleman, someone formerly known as Prince. That's what he will be. I mean, and that will be not the same as they talk about, he's got an appeal with the younger.
A lot of the stories have been negative and around, we felt badly treated by the royal family. And certainly with Meghan, look, with the twerking video and her really kind of owning her social media, I think you're seeing that kind of, right, I'm going to be more upbeat, I'm going to be positive. And we're sort of waiting for more of that, I think, from Harry.
But then, of course, they're already ahead of the game on this, the Sussexes, because they've done their branding for their 2 children. She's writing a
words and condemning Harry's behavior.
It's a comedic setup, right? The prodigal son who left for Hollywood to seek fame and fortune, suddenly finding the family business is cutting him loose, not just emotionally, but legally and financially. We're talking about a move that could potentially turn the Duke of Montecito into just Harry. It's the kind of a move that would leave you speechless and wondering, what's the real tea?
Diary entry every night to Archie and Lilibet. I wonder what that's for, the Diary of Archie and Lilibet. I don't know, it's a nice book. But they know that those 2 will be, and they've got all their branding around that, they will be something that they will be able to monetize. And unfortunately about the Sussexes, I just call them H&M, because I don't believe they should have the title, is all about the money. And of course, the reason we want, there's a lot of this, and let's not be too cynical, yes, he wants to reconcile.
So what did they find that led to this bombshell? The latest gossip making rounds is that the Parliament is not just making a symbolic gesture, they're putting their money where their mouth is, literally. This rumored tax penalty, rumored to be a staggering amount, isn't a slap on the wrist. It's a full-blown financial smackdown that could leave a serious dent in the Sussexes' financial independence they've so proudly talked about.
With his father. His father has a finite time on this earth. There's a lot of money to be distributed, and I'm sure that's a conversation that needs to be had.
So we asked, ultimately, should the king remove the Sussexes' titles from Harry?
It was built on the borrowed shine of the monarchy. The second that shine fades.
And Meghan, and 91% said absolutely.
I agree with it.
You agree with that,
I
Rob?
agree with it, yeah. I think because they've disobeyed the HRH and they've flaunted that. They're now talking about, I'm Meghan Sussex. Well, you're slightly,
It's almost like a financial accountability check from an accountant who's finally had enough of the vague receipts. People are saying the taxman has caught up to the Hollywood dream, and he's not here for the glitz and glamour, just the hard numbers. This whole situation begs the question, how did they get caught in this financial web in the first place? And who is really pulling the strings behind the scenes?
They're making out the royal family. You want it out. You wanted to be American citizens, where titles don't matter. What is the point of having their children as prince and princess if they're not in any role? They're not Habsburgs from the previous century. It seems ridiculous to me. And also, if you want to be, American citizens and be branded, they don't need the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in front of their name. Harry and Meghan, they know, we know who you're talking about. So no, I think if you're not involved and you're not a working royal and you're not really part of it, then remove the titles. I also think there's precedent amongst the Scandinavian royals where that was all changed around and they got rid of princes and princesses, apart from the first section, and that probably wouldn't be a bad way of going forward, really, for the royal family. With George, Charlotte, and
It's been suggested that the British Parliament, a body known for its decorum and formality, is now openly condemning Harry's behavior. We're hearing that they believe he has, quote-unquote, weaponized his royal identity for commercial gain. Can you imagine the scene? A room full of lawmakers, not just debating policy, but also dissecting Harry's Netflix specials and book sales. It's like they've become the world's most powerful and least humorous book club. This isn't just a family disagreement anymore, it's an institutional showdown.
Louis, to not keep extending this prince and princess thing and just have them as either their names or a lord or lady, whatever they want to do, but not continue with the having an extended royal family, prince and princesses all the way down the line. Yeah, I'd remove the title. They pretty much damned themselves about that. They didn't want to be part of the royal family. They trashed the institution, so why do they need the titles?
Rhiannon, are you part of the 91% that Rob clearly is?
No, I think we've had enough. Look, it'd be another story for us to write about, but I think enough has been done.
The lawmakers allegedly see this as an act of protection, not revenge, to prevent future abuse of the royal brand. But if this is about protection, why is King Charles reportedly so involved in this public family spat? The word on the street is that King Charles's approval is more than just a reluctant nod. It's an assertion that the crown must survive, even if one of its own has to be shown the door. This could be seen as the ultimate power move, a declaration that the institution is more important than any one person's rebellion. It's the kind of decision that tells you he's not just a father anymore, but a monarch putting his kingdom first.
Actually, the things that really mattered to Harry have already been taken away from him. So his military affiliations.
No, it's not him though, is it? It's
gone.
us. It's us. I'm thinking about like, the 91% saying, well, a bit of an, he's taking all his stuff. Yeah, he's lost a lot, and he has. But that was given to him to serve. Not given him for 5 minutes. It was given him for life of service.
I still think if you cut Prince Harry in half, it would still say service and duty. I genuinely do. And you look at what he does through Invictus, and you see that very clearly. I think what they would argue is the way.
You have to wonder what his motivations are. Is this truly for the good of the monarchy, or is there a deeper personal reason behind this shocking move? Whispers say this is something he's wanted to do for a while now. Rumor has it the entire situation is being driven by the public. Polls across the UK allegedly show an overwhelming support for the move, with citizens reportedly tired of seeing Harry use his royal name for profit while simultaneously criticizing the very institution that gave him that privilege.
Show those elements of service and duty are different now.
I would
just
say,
think
yeah.
it's enough. I think enough. And actually,
that was given to them for a reason. It wasn't given to them. It was given to them in anticipation of service. People like the Duke of Kent, who are still turning out now, then it was given that title.
It's a classic case of public frustration boiling over. They feel that if you want to be a private citizen, then be a private citizen, but don't expect to live off the royal coattails. The mood is not one of pity, but of relief, as if a long overdue debt is finally being paid. But the question...
And he was done a lifetime of service. Mm-hmm. They did a lunchtime of service.
Well, very good point. I mean, the late Queen was, she felt very strong.
Then there's the issue of Harry's silence, a dramatic turn from the man who once rushed to tell-all interviews and book deals. A man who supposedly wanted to tell his story is now eerily quiet as his brand is crumbling. What does his silence really mean? Is it a sign of weakness, or is it a calculated move? Perhaps he's planning his next big reveal, a new chapter in his life without titles. Or perhaps there is simply nothing left to say. But that's not the only thing people are speculating about. What about the whispers surrounding his financial foundation, Arkwell? Reports are circulating that Parliament's decision is putting Arkwell's finances under a microscope. Questions about the charity's money, which were long brushed aside, are now getting louder. The suspicion is that if Harry used his titles for personal gain, then what does that mean for the money flowing into his foundation? It's a big question. It's the kind of thing that makes you raise an eyebrow and say, now that's interesting. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about accountability. We're talking about auditors watching, Parliament listening, and the public questioning. But if the rumors about Arkwell are true, why has Meghan been so silent throughout all of this? And where, pray tell, is Meghan in all of this? She, a person who's known for being fiercely protective of her brand, has remained conspicuously silent. Rumors suggest this is a calculated move, a deliberate effort to protect her own brand from being dragged down by Harry's collapse. Some say it's a strategic distancing, a way of saying, I have my own ventures, and I'm not going to sacrifice them for this. It's a move that's raising eyebrows on both sides of the Atlantic. But if this is true, what does that mean for their partnership? The entire saga has created a brutal irony. Harry wanted independence, he claimed he was breaking free from the monarchy, but without his titles and burdened by taxes, his so-called independence looks hollow. The consensus is that his freedom was never built on self-reliance, but on the borrowed shine of the monarchy. The moment that shine fades, the curtain drops and his reality stands bare. He's not a global statesman. He's a man without titles, and his fame was never truly his own. This whole situation makes you wonder what his next move will be. Is he even in a position to make a move? Now, let's talk about the comedy of it all. Harry wanted to be a Hollywood A-lister, but a man without a title is just another celebrity. The producers and publishers were buying Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, not just Harry, the individual. Without the label, the red carpet's dim, and the microphone at conferences falls silent. He becomes just another figure on the celebrity circuit, one whose fame was borrowed rather than earned. This is the kind of situation that makes you wonder if all of this could have been avoided. What if he had just stayed? Rumors are flying that this entire scenario has precedent among other royal families. Some whispers suggest that the Scandinavian royals have already made similar changes, getting rid of titles for those not in the direct line of succession. This makes you wonder if King Charles is just following a modern royal trend to slim down the monarchy. It's a strategic move that could benefit the crown in the long run. If this is a trend, what does that mean for the other royals like George, Charlotte, and Louis? Will they also be affected by this in the future? The entire narrative has taken a turn from a family drama to a political and institutional debate. The parliamentarians are using strong language, calling his actions a betrayal and an exploitation of trust. This isn't polite gossip. This is official judgment. The crown is no longer in his corner, and neither is Parliament. It's like he's on his own, with no one to back him up. So what does this mean for his legacy? How will history remember him? And what about the irony of it all? The public feels the justice and is satisfied to watch the curtain fall on a man who allegedly mistook privilege for permanence. In their eyes, this was not cruelty, it was consequence. The monarchy, though bruised, is stronger without him. Parliament has made sure of it. This whole spectacle makes you wonder, will he ever be able to recover from this? Or is this the end of his time in the spotlight? And what of the family's public image moving forward? With all these rumors of stripped titles and tax penalties, one has to wonder if this will affect the other royal. We are hearing that King Charles is taking a firm stance. This could be a message to all the other royals that they are not immune to consequences. It's a message of accountability that is being delivered loud and clear. What will be the next step in this whole dramatic saga? In the end, all we have are rumors and whispers, but they paint a picture of a man who left a life of duty for one of celebrity, only to find that the very thing he ran from was the source of his fame. Stripped of his titles and facing a tax bill, he may be left with a reality far different from the one he envisioned. It's a lesson for everyone that privilege is not permanent. What's the real story behind all of this? Only time will tell, and we'll be here to find out.